We were fucking nasty little bastards. And we still are.
Simon John Ritchie, better known as Sid Vicious, was the bassist of Britain's most famous punk band, the Sex Pistols. Vicious was born on May 10, 1957 in London, England, and was raised by his mother, Anne Beverley. Anne Beverley became addicted to heroin while Sid was a child. This addiction played a part in his death. Vicious joined the Sex Pistols in early 1977 as a permanent bassist as Glenn Matlock left. He was a massive fan of the band and was recruited by Johnny Rotten. Although Sid had little to none experience on bass, he had the perfect image and attitude, and that was enough for them.
I went down there and he said, "Do you want to play bass for the Sex Pistols?" All I did was cash in on the fact that I'm good looking and I have a good figure and girls like me.
Due to his limited experience, guitarist Steve Jones played bass on the band's album Nevermind the Bollocks. The nickname Sid Vicious derived from when Rotten's pet hamster bit his hand. He exclaimed, "Sid is really vicious," then began using this as a nickname, which stuck forever. It is presumed Vicious's drug use started in his teenage years. Rotten shared how on Sid's 16th birthday, his mother gave him heroin as a present. As he joined the band, his drug habits grew worse and attempted to live up to his stage name. Dee from the punk rock band Ramones recalls a party he attended with Vicious. During this, they were given speed and headed to the toilet to get some water to inject the drug. However, the toilet was covered in vomit. Vicious then proceeded to stick the syringe into the vomit-filled toilet and injected himself with it. There have been claims of Vicious and animal abuse. Friend Mark Halfond shares how Vicious horrifically killed a cat using a belt. As well as hurting animals, he also hurt himself and other people. During a North American tour, he assaulted a reporter by striking him in the head with a bicycle chain multiple times till he bled. Later in 1977, Vicious was said to have missed rehearsals and recording sessions as he was in hospital with hepatitis, most likely from drug use. In the same year, he met Nancy Spungen, who had moved to London from America. She worked different jobs, but was known as being a groupie to other bands, and she was also a heroin addict. Vicious and Spungen became infatuated with each other and began a relationship which involved heavy drug use and reported abuse. Members of the Sex Pistols and their manager took a dislike towards her, so much so that the manager banned Spungen from accompanying them on their 1978 US tour. The tour would also be their last. Tensions grew between Rotten, their manager McLaren, and Vicious. Furthermore, Vicious was suffering from withdrawal and was furious that his girlfriend was banned from the tour. In order to aid his addiction, manager McLaren gave Vicious a budget of $14 a week, hoping he wouldn't be able to purchase drugs. However, this was not successful, and tensions worsened. During this tour, he assaulted a fan by hitting them on the head with the bass, and at another show he carved the phrase "Gimme a fix" with a razor onto his body. The Sex Pistols played their last show before breaking up on January 14, 1978.
Ever get the feeling you've been cheated? Good night.
On January 19, 1978, Vicious fell into a coma and was told if he didn't quit drinking, he wouldn't be alive in 6 months. On August 24, 1978, Spungen and Vicious moved to New York and resided in Chelsea Hotel, where they spent most of their time using drugs. This would take a darker turn a few months later. On October 11, 1978, the couple held a party in their hotel room. The following morning, staff found Spungen's lifeless body on the bathroom floor with a stab wound in her abdomen. Vicious was then arrested and charged with the murder and gave the police conflicting stories on what happened. For instance, he once said, "I stabbed her, but I never meant to kill her." However, he then claimed that he had no recollection of the night.
What do you think made it happen?
It was meant to happen. Nancy always said she'd die before she was 21.
After being bailed out 2 months later, in February 1979, he was ordered to stay in New York. He went to a friend's apartment and ordered another friend by the name of Gravel to attain some heroin for him. Alongside Vicious were a few other friends and his mother and Beverly. Vicious died that night at the age of 21. He died of an overdose and was discovered by his mother later on. Claims of a death pact between Vicious and Spungen were revealed. His body was cremated and the ashes were given to his mother.